Welcome to Moody's One-Shot Lore. I'm your narrator, and I'll be guiding you through the tales from Contentium Academy. Please remember to like, subscribe, and follow all our social media channels below to stay updated on the latest stories. Let's dive into this intriguing world together. After Nick finishes talking to Tess about her friend being murdered, Tess leaves and Nick is visibly exhausted. "How did the questioning go?" the chief asks, entering the room. Nick rubs his eyes wearily. "Well, as expected," he replies with a sigh. "Poor girl, she could never catch a break. So we'll keep her taking evidence off the books. I would hate to see her missing from my favorite show." The chief chuckles lightly. "I'm going to see Molly's body. Maybe I can get a hint about what's going on with these murders," Nick says, his voice tinged with determination. The chief's expression turns somber, and he stands up, closing the door behind him. "Look, this has to stay between us, but we don't have Molly's body," he confides quietly. "What do you mean, sir?" Nick asks, confusion evident in his voice. "I mean the officer who was transferring Molly's body took it off the grid and erased their tracks in the databanks," the chief reveals, his concern palpable. "So, it's really true. We do have a leak in our department," Nick says, feeling discouraged. "I was hoping Bear was just trying to mess with us," Nick adds. "Afraid not. Whoever this is, they are smart," the chief confirms. "After I solve this murder case, I'll find this traitor, sir." "Don't you worry," Nick assures him. "I want you off this murder case, and I want you to do a private investigation to find out who betrayed us and why," the chief orders. "Sir, I gave Tess my word I would look into these murders, and Molly's killer could be linked to the traitor," Nick argues, "or our traitor could be linked to the killer. Either way, we can never get the edge over this person if they are secretly watching our every move," the chief replies firmly. With a heavy heart, Nick agrees that this is the best plan and intends to find the traitor. Later in his office, Nick is poring over files when he hears a knock on his door. Morgan Chase enters, her eyes showing signs of distress. Nick senses that something is terribly wrong. "Can we talk?" Morgan asks softly. "Sure," Nick responds, concerned. Morgan proceeds to explain everything that happened to her and what Jess Miller did about the situation. "Do you think I was wrong to be mad at Jess?" she asks Nick. "I can see where Jess is coming from. You two are best friends. Could you stand by and have someone hurting Jess?" Nick questions gently. Morgan looks guilty and lowers her gaze. "Do you want to file a report on Brandon?" Nick asked. "No. He has never done anything like this before. He was just acting weird since the cops showed up," Morgan replies. Nick's interest is piqued. "What cop?" he asks eagerly. "There was this cop demanding to speak with Brandon. They went to speak privately, and when he came back, he was acting weird and canceled our date. Later that night, he came by my dorm really amped up about something, and I guess I pushed him too far trying to figure out what's wrong, and he just hit me," Morgan explains. Nick's face lights up. "Do you know the officer's name?" he asks excitedly. "Officer Blake?" Morgan responds. Nick stands up with determination, too excited to realize he gave Morgan a kiss on the cheek before rushing out of the door. Morgan is left shocked and confused, blushing slightly at the unexpected kiss. Nick arrives at Blake's apartment and knocks on his door. When Blake opens it, he appears nervous and agitated. "Hello, Blake. How are you doing today?" Nick greets him cheerfully. "What do you want?" Blake responds angrily, his fear palpable. "I need to ask you some questions," Nick says, forcing his way into the apartment. "This couldn't be done at the station?" Blake asked, hoping Nick would leave. "This couldn't wait," Nick responds firmly as he looks around and notices packed bags. "Going on a trip?" Nick asks suspiciously. "Yeah, I'm visiting my cousin. She is getting married," Blake replies nervously, sweat beading on his forehead. "Weird. I didn't see you put in PTO," Nick remarks. "Oh, I forgot," Blake says with a nervous laugh. "Hey, were you there at the academy?" Nick inquires. "No, why would you say that?" Blake responds, slowly moving and reaching for a knife in a drawer when Nick's back is turned. "I thought you were there to recover the girl's body," Nick questions. "Oh yeah, right. It slipped my mind," Blake stammers, his hands shaking. "How could you forget a girl cut to pieces?" Nick asks, his voice tense. Blake's breathing quickens, and he starts to panic. Nick stares at him, unnervingly silent. So what did you talk to Brandon about? Nick asks Blake. Blake's eyes widen, and he suddenly attacks Nick with the knife. However, Nick easily disarms him, having anticipated Blake's move, and throws him against the wall. What happened? Why are you doing this? Nick demands to know. I had no choice. I couldn't cross him. I completely messed up, and he is going to kill me. Blake cries, tears streaming down his face. It's all in the girls' files. They would have found me out eventually. I have to run, Blake confesses. Who put you up to this? Nick screams. Blake looks up at Nick, trembling. He begins, but an arrow made of light suddenly pierces through the window, striking Blake in the heart and killing him instantly. The arrow then disappears, leaving Nick in shock. Nick rushes outside in pursuit of the shooter, his heart pounding with adrenaline. Despite his efforts, he searches the area frantically but finds no trace of anyone suspicious. Frustrated and determined, he hurries back to the police station, his mind racing with the urgency of the situation. Stopping by the chief's office, Nick recounts the events to him, his voice urgent as he explains the gravity of the situation. The chief's expression darkens with concern as he listens, understanding the severity of the threat they're facing. Nick, we can't afford to lose this lead, the chief says firmly, his voice tinged with urgency. Find the shooter, whatever it takes. They may hold the key to unraveling this entire case. Nick nods, his determination renewed by the chief's words. With a sense of purpose, he heads to the files room, hoping to gather more clues from Molly's case files. As he sifts through the documents, relief washes over him when he finds them intact, a vital piece of evidence still within their grasp. Just as he begins to relax, thinking they might have a chance at cracking the case, a sudden blow to the back of his head sends him sprawling to the ground, the world spinning as darkness envelops him.
And I'm good with goodbyes, but straighten out your face while you steady your lies. See the pain in your face when you losing your mind. Got post-traumatic stress, you lost the feeling in highs. See the horrors of war. If you saw someone dying, would you open the door? On my job, highlighting the core. My words bless you, yes, you feeling annoying. Everybody wanna ramble, they don't get to the point. Your girl like a clown.